Well, it is proving to be a challenging re-election campaign for Joe Biden as the US president suffers low approval ratings. 44% of Americans now say they are financially worse off under Biden's presidency, while 3/4 say he is too old for another term. Joining me live is the former White House Chief of Staff and now Bondi Partners consultant, Mick Mulvaney. Great to see you, Mick, as always. This is the first time, and we always see polling right, but really we're starting to see a bit of a trend here where the approval rating for Joe Biden is going down. Is Trump starting to overtake him consistently yet?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Laura. That's what you look at in polling these days. You don't actually look at the numbers. You don't look at the results. You look at the trends and look for things that are sort of popping up again and again. And for Joe Biden, the stuff that's starting to pop up again and again are concerns about his age and significant concerns about the economy. He's going to Michigan tomorrow here to try and, I guess, insert himself into the nationwide auto workers strike that's just started this past couple of days. Be curious to see how that impacts the economy. But generally speaking, the trend lines for him are all pointed in the wrong direction on just about every single topic.
Is it the age thing that's really hurting him now?
Yeah, I think the age thing, Laura, is what folks are using now as an excuse. Many people could say, well, I like Joe Biden. He's an okay guy, but maybe he is too old. There's some polling data out that many as 2/3 of Democrats now, Democrats, not voters, Democrat voters, want somebody else at the top of the ticket. There have been some very high profile Democrats who have gone public in this country calling for Joe Biden not to run for re-election. That narrative is now. You and I talked about this 4 or 5 months ago, that it was in the back rooms, and it was. Now it's out in the open. So Joe Biden might survive this. Politics is a strange business, but for the first time, the Democrats are openly talking about other options for the Democrat nomination for president.
And who are they talking about as those other options? Because Kamala Harris is always seen as electoral poison. Is those views changed, or there are other names in the mix?
There are. In fact, the one name you don't hear much is Kamala Harris. There was a very high-profile editorial here last week by a leading Democrat who said that she should step aside as well. There was an interview over the weekend with a very, very senior member of the Congressional Black Caucus, the African-American group in Washington, D.C., who said that he thought Kamala Harris was part of the future, but not the future. If the African American political community starts to turn against Kamala Harris, then her political future is probably finished. But they're talking about the governor of California, the governor of Illinois, the couple of the senators and so forth. Senator Whitmer in Michigan, for example, is a woman who's done very, very well in that state. So there's a lot of names being discussed, but Kamala Harris is not on a lot of those lists.
Yeah, right. Okay, so what happens with the first Republican debate now without Donald Trump? Who's going to appear and who's hosting it?
Yeah, everybody's going to appear except Donald Trump. The debate is Wednesday. It's Monday night right here as I do this. So Wednesday night, about 48 hours from now, there'll be a debate at the Reagan Ranch out in California. And Donald Trump, again, will not be there. As he did last time, Donald Trump has scheduled something else, another media event, at the exact same time that debate will be being televised. He's going to Michigan as well to, again, insert himself, just as Biden is, into this national auto strike, which is getting more and more attention and more sort of momentum as it goes into its second week. So Donald Trump, the master of sort of misdirection and media, is going to have his own event. And my guess is we'll probably get just as much, if not more attention than the debate amongst the Republican challengers. And that's the biggest challenge they have is Donald Trump sucks so much oxygen out of a room when it comes to media. It's hard for any of these folks who are effectively running for second to get any attention at all.
Yeah, he is the absolute master of doing that, Mick. What about, I see that Chris Christie's had this massive come to Jesus moment. You know, he's kind of the chief criticizer of Donald Trump at the moment, but Ron DeSantis is really failing to capture the imagination of those rusted on Trump voters or even Republicans, really. Where's his polling at?
Yeah, I've heard for the first time just this week. I'm in Washington, D.C. I arrived here today. And for the very first time, I'm hearing people ask the question, when is Ron DeSantis going to drop out of the race? That's stunningly early in my mind, Laura. Keep in mind, we're several months away from the first primaries and more than a year away from the actual election itself. But that just goes to show you how things have turned so quickly for Ron DeSantis. He has struggled in Iowa. He has struggled in New Hampshire. Again, those states, very, very sort of old-fashioned retail politics. People want to meet the candidates face to face. They're not big cities. They're not populous states. They're not fancy places. They're old-fashioned politics. And Ron is not necessarily the best at that. He's always going to do well in Florida and Texas and even in California in the Republican primary. But it looks like he is struggling a little bit right now in Iowa and New Hampshire. That said, we're still several months away from even those early primaries.
Wow, that's all happening. It's going to be a very long year, or short one, depending on how you see it, Mick Mulvaney. Love talking to you. We'll see you next week.